Diary of a Caregiver Part 5. Okay, so what worked for diabetes? Diabetes. My dad had diabetes before he had a stroke. Really bad diabetes. He was over 300 pounds. He's 6'6", so he's a very tall man. Lots of diabetes. I got rid of it inadvertently. So inadvertently got rid of diabetes in my dad. The first thing I hit was cholesterol, so I took the red wine pills. Now, I say that now because that helps with the cure for what actually cured my dad of diabetes. So, from what I talked about with his nurse, weed became legal. This is controversial for states that aren't where it's still illegal. So weed became legal in Missouri right after my dad had a stroke. So that was perfect timing. Weirdly enough, it was the only thing that helped his seizures. I had to give him. I started off with a half an ounce a week, and that took away his seizures. But I ended up having to increase it up to an ounce a week. When I made that increase an ounce a week, he consumes it right before he goes to bed because he doesn't like the feeling. But the anti-cholesterol pills help with anybody that takes weed at that amount because it's stored in your fat. It runs through the cholesterol. For some reason, it causes cholesterol issues. So we never had cholesterol issues because that was the first thing I hit. So I never hit any of the cholesterol issues everybody else is hitting. But it was weed. It was weed that got rid of his diabetes. From what the nurse said, the pancreas started working. So the weed, 80% of diabetes is due to inflammation, from what she was telling me. So it's close to 80%. She said 76 or something like that percent is due to inflammation. Well, the anti-inflammatory properties in weed that I gave him every single night to go to bed, to stop his seizures for the entire next day, well, that allowed for his pancreas to work because it wasn't swollen anymore. It wasn't inflamed anymore. So it was working. My dad lost hella weight. He's under 200 pounds. And he was over 300 pounds. So he lost hella weight. Um, he, I don't know, we didn't really change anything else other than that. He still eats frozen pizzas and potatoes. I mean, he kind of stopped red meat. That was about it. But that was more due to his dentures. It was weed. Weed cured my dad's diabetes, and I hope this information helps you. There are ways to give it to people that don't like getting high. I give it to him at night before he goes to bed. And we used to put it into a brownie, and now he just eats it. I decarb it, and he eats it. It's kind of gross, but he likes it better than the brownie. I think he got sick of having brownie for 5 years. So, but it worked. It worked. It got rid of his diabetes. He looks amazing. If you see my last post, I post a picture of him. His before was 300 pounds. So he's doing a lot better. Diabetes, once his pancreas started working, all his numbers started to look better. I mean, that helped a lot. Inflammation, weed, anti-inflammatory, something so anti-inflammatory that got rid of his diabetes. And it took a few months. That was it. Once I increased it to one ounce a week, that's when we started seeing the major difference. Just a little helpful tip. And I know it's controversial because some states don't allow it. But you should know what worked for diabetes, what stopped my dad's diabetes.